How y'all doing? Welcome back to Gallery Notes with me, your host, Chase R. McCurdy. We are located in 33 Gallery, aka 33G, located in the historic West Side neighborhood of Las Vegas, Nevada. Some of what you see behind me is going to be in our upcoming exhibition opening, Legacy in Flight, coming to you all December 13th. That is a Friday, opening at 5:30 p.m., going till 8:30 p.m. We hope to see you all here. With this gallery notes being in the space of this exhibition, which centers on one individual artist and his art practice, his passion for both art as well as the Tuskegee Airmen, as well as his historical collecting, which stems from his passion. Our note for gallery notes today is what makes an artist quote unquote valuable. This comes up in commercial art quite a bit. We're always wondering, why does someone's paintings or why is their practice worth millions of dollars, others, worth $10 if you can get it off at an art fair. For me, I like to not start with notoriety, although notoriety is in the mix of what makes an artist quote unquote commercially valuable. But for me, the number one the number one aspect of what makes an artist valuable is their consistency in practice, as well as the spirit and sincerity of their practice. You notice that neither of these have to do with where they've been exhibited, how many works they sold, or for how much of they sold works. Because value is relative. Commercial value or monetary value can be a measure of value, but there are many other ways to measure value. And when we get to it, this consistency of practice, right? Not just a singular picture by the artist or a few works by the artist, but we like to see that an artist has been working for years consistently. You can see the ebbs and flows over time. You can note and see where an artist or an individual changes by what their physical works look like at a point in time. Often, this is why that often misunderstood refrain of an artist only being valuable or well known once they're dead comes from. It's not necessarily just that the artist is dead, it is that idea that we can now see the totality of that individual's practice in a way from beginning to end. Thus, being able to see that consistency as well as the changes, and our next point, the cultural significance of a practice. Not so much the cultural exposure, right? Exposure may be one thing. How many people within a society or a culture have seen someone's work, that will add value. But really, the cultural significance in that artist's practice. How can we look at that artist practice in relation to what has gone on in that point in time in history? Does their work speak to social or historical moments, trends, issues? Does their practice challenge something within the established hierarchy or system? Cultural significance can mean a lot of things depending on one's personal point of view, but this is one of those steadfast aspects for me that leads to valuing an artist, especially if that cultural significance is in some way novel, unique, or played some sort of role, right? Say an artist's work were to inspire someone who led to great social change. I will now add in that final piece of breadth of exposure to practice, or this idea of how many people saw an artist practice while they were living. And this leads to this idea of where the artist has been exhibited, maybe, big museum exhibitions, small gallery exhibitions, but really how many cities was the artist's work seen in, right? How many different countries was the artist able to be in relationship with through the course of their work and the course of their lives? None of these are the end all be all, but these are all just a few factors to think about when we discuss the idea of an artist's value. Not merely if this artist was able to sell paintings for a large amount of money, but this totality of the practice that makes the artist someone that we value, not just monetarily, but culturally and spiritually. We thank you all for another Gallery Notes. We'll be back soon. As always, we're not telling you what to think or how to think, but just giving you some things to consider in your day-to-day lives. Love and respect.